So what are the core characteristics of a solution before you say this feature, this device, that mobile app, right? Think about what are some characteristics that a solution needs to have. Like it needs to be always connected. It doesn't need to feel, it shouldn't be on the mobile app because it needs to do something different, right? So decide what the right modality is also, right? Most of the time we start a product interview by saying, help design a solution or a product or solve this problem for the user. And 99% people will just start building mobile apps, right? Whether or not that is the right solution in any given scenario, right? So think about that. Don't take that for granted. It was not true 10 years ago, but it is entirely not true today, right? Web is a very exciting space. We are hardware of other kinds, internet of things, cameras, things connected to the internet, but responding in different ways via voice, other gestures are common now, right? So think about different kinds of solutions. It also shows creativity, obviously. Once you have the core characteristics and modalities defined, then get into a feature set. Then talk about, oh, this is what my solution's features need to be. These are the 8 things it needs to do. And here are the 2 most important one it needs to do to solve the core inquiry that we had, right? And then define, to end your interview, a certain set of metrics that will grow. And please, if you use again metrics like monthly active users, they mean nothing to an actual PM, right? So this is what we call a vanity metric. Like a vanity metric is something you put on a billboard and you put it outside of your office, or when you want funding in your startup, you go and show a metric outside. If I told you a metric like monthly active users as a PM, you will not know what to do with that metric. And I do this, by the way, in interviews. So when people say the success metric for me for this product that I just built is monthly active users, my response typically is, you have 8 million monthly active users. What do you do next, right? And people are mostly just baffled because they don't know what to do with 8 million number, right? And that is true. You will not know what to do with an 8 million number. You will have to find metrics that make a lot of specific sense to your product scenario, right? So that when you receive a response, a signal from the market, right? When you release the product, the metric value comes in, you know what to do with it. So if it is 10%, it's low. If it's 80%, it's high. If it's 10%, what are the hypotheses? It has to mean something, right? There was a very good screenshot I actually wanted to put on the slide. I could not. If you look at Elon Musk's tweets, and there are obviously many crazy tweets over the last few months on Twitter, but if you look at one particular tweet he put in, he talked about a new metric for success for Twitter, right? And he said the metric should be unregretted user minutes, right? And I thought that was a beautiful take at what a good metric needs to be. This is not engaged users, monthly returning users. It doesn't mean anything. How many minutes do you spend on Twitter that you do not regret? We do not want to force you to be here, but while you are here, are you having a good time? And they found very, very interesting ways to even measure this, right? So if you look at some of the tweets that now show up for folks who might be on Twitter, there'll be a tweet, and this then below that it will say, was this tweet a good use of your time? And yes or no, and you can reply back. And very lightweight, below many of the tweets, it will start showing up. So that's how they're measuring it, right? So I think very few people take a creative lens at what the right product metric is for my product success, right? And I think this is a great example, but in any scenario, this will be true. So don't look at monthly active user retention. You can say those in an interview just to clarify that you know what those mean, but that is not a metric that you will be actually measuring at any given point in time in your product journey and making decisions off of that.